Every great achievement in human history began with a single principle: focus. Focus directs energy, shapes decisions, and transforms dreams into reality. Yet in the modern world, distractions are everywhere. Social media, endless notifications, competing priorities, and the opinions of others pull attention in every direction. Amid this chaos, the one who learns to focus on themselves develops the power to achieve extraordinary success. Focus on you until you win is more than a motivational phrase. It is a mindset, a lifestyle, and a principle for personal growth. It emphasizes investing your time, energy, and effort into your own development rather than comparing yourself with others or seeking external validation. Success begins from within. By concentrating on your skills, mindset, and progress, you build the foundation for lasting achievement. This journey is not easy. It demands patience, self-discipline, and resilience. It requires understanding that failure is not the end, but a teacher, that small daily actions accumulate into extraordinary outcomes, and that the mind must be trained to believe in growth. Many people wait for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, or the perfect skill level. Yet the truth is that there is no perfect moment. The moment you start focusing on yourself is the moment your journey begins. Throughout this book, you will explore the principles, stories, and strategies that transform ordinary effort into success. You will learn how to build confidence through action, turn failure into fuel, develop patience, and cultivate a growth mindset. You will see how persistence and self-belief create unstoppable momentum. Every chapter is designed to guide you step by step, showing that the path to victory is not a leap, but a series of consistent, deliberate steps. By choosing to focus on yourself, you reclaim control over your life. You become the architect of your own success, the driver of your own growth, and the author of your own story. This book is an invitation to commit fully to your potential, to trust the process, and to embrace every challenge as a stepping stone. The journey will challenge you, but it will also reward you in ways that are deeper than wealth or recognition. It will shape your character, strengthen your resilience, and reveal the untapped capabilities within you. Focus on you until you win is not a temporary mindset. It is a lifelong practice. Every day you choose to learn, act, and improve, you move closer to becoming the person capable of achieving your greatest goals. This is your journey. And it begins with a single choice: to focus on yourself until you win. Chapter 1, the beginning of self-focus. Every great victory begins with a moment of realization. A moment when a person finally understands that the world will not change unless they change themselves. Many people spend years looking outside for answers. They blame situations. They blame luck. They blame other people. But the truth is simple. Success begins the moment a person turns their attention inward and decides to focus on themselves. Focus on you until you win is not only a motivational phrase. It is a life philosophy. It means that instead of comparing yourself with others, you start building yourself. Instead of wasting energy on what people say, you invest your energy into growth. Instead of waiting for opportunities, you become the person who creates them. Imagine a young student named Ali. Ali grows up in a small town where opportunities seem limited. Many of his friends believe that success is only possible for people born in big cities or wealthy families. They complain every day about their conditions. They talk about how unfair life is. Ali listens, but something inside him feels different. One day he reads a simple line in a book. It says, "Focus on yourself until you win." That sentence changes his mindset. Ali begins to understand that while he cannot control the world, he can control his effort. He starts waking up early. He studies longer hours than before. He spends less time complaining and more time learning new skills. At first, people laugh at him. They say he is working too hard. They say nothing will change. But Ali continues, Months pass. His knowledge grows. His confidence grows. His discipline becomes stronger. Eventually, he earns a scholarship to study in a bigger city. The same people who once laughed now ask him how he succeeded. The answer is simple. He focused on himself until he won. This story shows an important truth. Progress begins when attention moves from distractions toward self-development. Many people lose their energy because they constantly watch what others are doing. Social media comparisons, jealousy, and negative opinions slowly destroy focus. When the mind is always observing others, it forgets to build itself. A person who decides to focus on themselves begins a different journey. They start asking powerful questions. What can I improve today? What skills can I learn? What habits are holding me back? These questions shift the mind toward growth. Another example is the story of Sarah. Sarah always dreamed of becoming a writer, but she never started writing seriously. She spent most of her time worrying about what others might think. She feared criticism. She feared failure. Every day she promised herself she would start tomorrow. One evening, she attends a small seminar where a speaker says something that touches her deeply. The speaker says that many dreams die because people focus on opinions instead of progress. The speaker repeats the same idea. Focus on you until you win. Sarah goes home that night and makes a decision. She stops waiting for approval. She starts writing every morning. At first, her writing is not perfect. Many pages feel weak, but she continues learning and practicing. After 1 year, she completes her first book. After 2 years, she publishes it online. Slowly, readers begin to appreciate her work. Her success did not happen because everything was easy. It happened because she chose self-focus instead of fear. This philosophy applies to every area of life. Whether a person wants to become an athlete, a business owner, a teacher, or an artist, the principle remains the same. Real growth requires concentration on personal improvement. Consider athletes who train for championships. The most successful athletes rarely spend time complaining about competitors. Instead, they analyze their own performance. They improve their strength, endurance, and technique. Day after day, they work on themselves. When competition arrives, they are prepared because their focus remained on growth, rather than distraction. Focus also builds mental strength. Life will always present challenges. There will be moments of doubt. There will be failures and criticism. A person who constantly depends on external validation may collapse during these moments. But a person who has trained their mind to focus inward develops resilience. Think about a man named Imran who wants to start a small business. In the beginning, his shop receives very few customers. Some relatives tell him that the idea will fail. Others advise him to give up and find a safer job. If Imran focuses on these voices, he may lose confidence quickly. Instead, he chooses another path. He studies marketing. He improves the quality of his products. He talks with customers to understand their needs. Slowly, his business begins to grow. His progress is not instant, but it is steady. His focus remains on improvement rather than negativity. The phrase "focus on you until you win" does not mean ignoring the world completely. It means prioritizing personal development so strongly that distractions lose their power. When focus becomes consistent, improvement becomes inevitable. Many successful people share similar stories. They experienced doubt, criticism, and obstacles, but they continued working on themselves. Their attention stayed fixed on learning, practicing, and evolving. Another important aspect of self-focus is patience. Winning rarely happens overnight. Society often celebrates quick success stories, but the truth behind most achievements is years of quiet effort. During these years, nobody is watching. Nobody is applauding. The individual continues anyway because their focus is internal rather than external. Imagine a young athlete training before sunrise every morning while others sleep. Imagine a musician practicing the same instrument for thousands of hours before performing on stage. Imagine a scientist conducting experiment after experiment before discovering something valuable. These journeys require deep focus on personal growth. When people say focus on you until you win, they are describing a mindset that refuses to surrender. A mindset that understands progress is built daily through small, consistent actions. If someone reads this philosophy and decides to apply it, their life can slowly transform. The transformation does not require extraordinary talent. It requires commitment. Start by observing your daily habits. Notice how much time is spent on distractions. Notice how often negative comparisons appear. Then gently redirect that energy toward improvement. Learn something new. Practice a skill. Build discipline. Every day of focused effort becomes a brick in the foundation of future success. One day, the results appear. Confidence grows. Skills become stronger. Opportunities start opening. At that moment, people may say that success arrives suddenly. But the truth is different. Success was quietly built through countless hours of focused self-development. Focus on you until you win. That sentence may look simple, but within it lives a powerful truth. The journey of victory always begins inside the individual who decides to grow regardless of circumstances. Chapter 2: The Power of Discipline. Every dream needs a strong foundation. That foundation is discipline. Many people believe success comes from motivation alone. They watch inspiring videos. They read powerful quotes. They feel excited for a short time. But after a few days, the excitement fades and their actions stop. Motivation can start a journey, but discipline keeps the journey moving. Focus on you until you win requires discipline because growth does not happen only on the days when you feel inspired. Real growth happens on the days when you feel tired, when you feel bored, and when you feel like giving up. Discipline means doing the work even when the mind searches for excuses. Imagine a young man named Hamza who dreams of becoming a professional athlete. Hamza loves sports and often imagines himself winning competitions. But in the beginning, he only trains when he feels energetic. Some days he practices very hard. Other days he sleeps late and skips training. Months pass and his progress remains slow. One day, his coach gives him a simple message. The coach says talent can open the door, but discipline keeps the door open. Without discipline, even the most talented person will fall behind. Hamza begins to understand this truth. He creates a daily routine. Every morning, he wakes up early. He trains his body. He studies techniques. He improves his diet. Even when rain falls, and even when his muscles feel tired, he continues his routine. At first, the routine feels difficult. His friends invite him to spend time playing games and relaxing. Sometimes he feels tempted to skip training, but he remembers his goal. He remembers that discipline today builds victory tomorrow. After many months, his strength increases. His speed improves. His confidence becomes stronger. When the next competition arrives, his performance surprises everyone. The change did not happen by magic. The change happened because discipline replaced inconsistency. This is the true power of discipline. It transforms small daily actions into powerful long-term results. Another story shows the same lesson. A young woman named Aisha wants to become a successful doctor. Her dream is strong, but medical studies require years of hard work. Many students start with excitement, but lose focus when the work becomes heavy. During her first year, Aisha struggles. The books are difficult, and the exams are stressful. Some classmates begin to skip classes and depend on shortcuts. Aisha feels the same pressure, but she makes a decision. She decides that discipline will guide her journey. Every day she follows a study schedule. She reviews her lessons carefully. She asks questions when she does not understand something. She reduces unnecessary distractions, like endless scrolling on her phone. Her routine becomes stronger week after week. There are moments when she feels exhausted. There are nights when she wishes the journey was easier. But she continues because discipline is stronger than temporary comfort. Years later, she graduates as a doctor. Her success inspires many younger students. When people ask her secret, she gives a simple answer. Focus on yourself and remain disciplined until you win. Discipline is powerful because it builds habits. Habits shape the direction of life. A single action repeated every day becomes a habit, and habits eventually define character. Think about two individuals who start with the same potential. One person studies 1 hour every day for many years. The other person studies only when exams are close. At first, their difference seems small. But over time, the disciplined person gains much deeper knowledge and stronger skills. The same rule applies in business. Consider a man named Rashid who wants to build a successful company. In the beginning, he works from a small room with limited resources. Instead of waiting for perfect conditions, he follows a disciplined routine. Each morning, he plans his work. He contacts potential clients. He learns about marketing and finance. He studies successful entrepreneurs. Slowly, his understanding grows. Many times, his efforts bring little immediate reward. Some clients reject his proposals. Some plans fail. But discipline keeps him moving forward. Years later, his company expands. Employees join his team. Customers trust his services. The success that people see today is actually the result of years of disciplined effort. Discipline also protects focus. In modern life, distractions are everywhere. Social media notifications, endless entertainment, and constant comparisons can easily steal attention. Without discipline, a person may lose hours every day without realizing it. A disciplined person creates boundaries. They decide when to work, when to rest, and when to learn. They control their time instead of allowing distractions to control them. For example, imagine a student named Bill preparing for an important exam. His phone constantly shows messages, videos, and games. Each notification tries to pull his attention away from his studies. Bill understands that success requires focus. He creates a simple rule. During study hours, his phone stays away. His environment becomes quiet and clear. This small act of discipline protects his concentration. After several months, his results improve dramatically. His disciplined focus turns ordinary study sessions into powerful learning experiences. Another benefit of discipline is self-respect. When a person keeps promises to themselves, they begin to trust their own strength. Every completed task sends a message to the mind that says, I am capable of commitment. This self-trust becomes a powerful force. Imagine someone who promises to exercise every morning. The first few days are difficult, but they continue. After several weeks, the routine becomes natural. The body becomes stronger, and the mind becomes more confident. The person begins to believe in their ability to achieve bigger goals. Focus on you until you win means developing this inner strength. It means becoming the type of person who continues working even when nobody is watching. Many people wait for external pressure to force them into action. They only work hard when teachers, supervisors, or deadlines push them. Discipline creates internal motivation. The individual becomes their own source of pressure and progress. History offers many examples of disciplined individuals. Great scientists, artists, leaders, and athletes often followed strict routines. Their achievements were not only the result of talent, but also the result of daily disciplined practice. The writer who completes books writes regularly, even when inspiration feels weak. The musician who performs beautifully practices scales for hours. The entrepreneur who builds companies studies markets and strategies. Constantly, behind every visible success story, there are thousands of disciplined actions, hidden from public view, Developing discipline is not about becoming perfect. Everyone experiences moments of weakness. The important thing is returning to the path quickly. If a routine breaks for one day, the disciplined person begins again the next day. This mindset prevents small mistakes from becoming permanent habits. Helpful way to build discipline is to start small. Choose one simple habit that supports your goal. Practice it every day. When the habit becomes natural, add another positive habit. Gradually, your lifestyle becomes aligned with success. For example, someone who wants to become a writer can begin by writing one page every day. One page may look small, but over time, it becomes hundreds of pages. Consistency creates powerful results. Another person who wants financial success might begin by learning about money management each day. Small lessons slowly transform into valuable financial intelligence. The principle remains the same in every field. Discipline transforms effort into progress and progress into victory. Focus on you until you win means trusting this process. It means understanding that daily discipline builds the future piece by piece. There will be moments when others appear to move faster. There will be times when your progress feels invisible. During these moments, discipline keeps you grounded. Continue learning. Continue practicing. Continue improving. The world often celebrates dramatic success stories, but the real story behind them is usually quiet, disciplined persistence. If you cultivate discipline, your focus becomes stronger and your path becomes clearer. You stop depending on random motivation. Instead, you rely on structured effort and consistent habits. One day the results appear. Your skills become undeniable. Your knowledge becomes deep. Your confidence becomes unshakable. At that moment, the phrase becomes real in your life. You focused on yourself. You remain disciplined. And eventually, you won. Chapter 3: Ignoring distractions. Journey toward success is rarely blocked by lack of ability. More often, it is blocked by distractions. Distractions quietly steal time, energy, and attention. They appear harmless in the beginning, but over months and years, they slowly pull a person away from their true goals. Focus on you until you win means learning how to recognize distractions and learning how to ignore them. Modern life is filled with endless noise. Phones ring, messages arrive, videos appear, and opinions surround every decision. If a person allows every sound, every opinion, and every temporary pleasure to control their attention, then progress becomes very slow. A focused person understands something important. Attention is one of the most valuable resources in life. Where attention goes, energy flows, and where energy flows, results appear. Imagine a student named Usman who wants to become an engineer. At the beginning of his studies, he feels motivated and excited. But each day, many distractions compete for his attention. Friends invite him to play games for long hours. Social media sends endless notifications. Television shows promise easy entertainment. Usman begins to notice that his study time slowly disappears. 1 hour becomes 30 minutes. 30 minutes becomes 10 minutes. Days pass without meaningful progress. His dream remains the same, but his actions no longer support it. One evening, he reflects deeply about his future. He realizes that distractions are quietly stealing his potential. At that moment, he decides to change his habits. He does not remove all entertainment from his life, but he creates boundaries. During study hours, his phone remains silent. Social media is checked only after important work is finished. He studies in a quiet place where interruptions are rare. In the beginning, this discipline feels uncomfortable. His mind is used to constant stimulation. But gradually, his concentration improves. The hours he spends studying become more productive than before. Months later, his understanding of engineering subjects becomes much deeper. His teachers notice his improvement. His results become stronger. The difference between his past and present was not intelligence. The difference was the ability to ignore distractions. Another example is the story of Nadia, who dreams of building her own clothing business. She loves fashion design and imagines opening a shop one day. But when she first begins working on her dream, she faces many distractions. Some people around her say starting a business is too risky. Others tell her she should focus only on a safe job. These opinions create doubt in her mind. She begins spending more time listening to criticism than improving her skills. One day, she meets an experienced entrepreneur who gives her simple advice. The entrepreneur tells her that every dream attracts noise. If you listen to every voice, your path will become confusing. The entrepreneur repeats a powerful idea. Focus on you until you win. Nadia begins to apply this advice. Instead of arguing with negative opinions, she quietly returns to her work. She studies fashion trends. She practices designing clothes. She learns how to manage small online sales. Slowly her designs begin attracting customers. Her small business grows step by step. The opinions that once distracted her no longer control her actions. This lesson is important because distractions are not always obvious. Sometimes distractions appear as comfort. Sometimes they appear as fear. Sometimes they appear as other people's expectations. For example, a young man named Kareem wants to become a professional photographer. But every time he tries to practice photography, his relatives remind him that photography may not bring stable income. They encourage him to abandon his passion. These comments create mental distraction. Kareem begins doubting his ability. Instead of practicing photography, he spends hours worrying about the future. Finally, he decides to test his dream seriously. He commits 1 year to learning photography with full focus. During that year, he studies lighting, composition, editing, and storytelling through images. He takes thousands of photos. As his skills improve, people start noticing his work. Small clients request photography services for events. His passion slowly becomes a profession. If Kareem had continued listening to every doubtful voice, he might never have discovered his potential. Ignoring distractions does not mean ignoring advice completely. Wise advice can be valuable, but a focused person learns to distinguish between helpful guidance and unnecessary noise. Helpful guidance encourages growth. Noise creates confusion and fear. Another powerful distraction is comparison. In the modern world, people constantly observe the lives of others through social media. They see pictures of success, luxury, and happiness. This creates the illusion that everyone else is progressing. Faster. Comparison can destroy focus because it shifts attention away from personal growth. Imagine a young writer named Sana who posts her first articles online. When she sees other writers receiving more attention, she feels discouraged. She begins spending more time comparing numbers of followers instead of improving her writing. After several weeks, she realizes that comparison is weakening her motivation. She decides to change her mindset. Instead of measuring herself against others, she measures her progress against her past. Each new article becomes better than the previous one. Her writing style improves. Her ideas become clearer. Eventually, readers begin appreciating her work. The moment she stopped comparing herself with others, her focus returned to growth. Distractions can also come from inside the mind. Negative thoughts, fear of failure, and self-doubt often appear during difficult moments. These internal distractions can be powerful because they create emotional resistance. Consider a young entrepreneur named Zain who launches a small online business. In the first month, sales are very low. His mind begins producing negative thoughts. Maybe this idea will fail. Maybe I am not talented enough. These thoughts distract him from solving real problems. Instead of improving his strategy, he wastes time worrying that one day he decides to treat negative thoughts differently. Instead of believing them automatically, he observes them calmly. He reminds himself that every business faces early struggles. With renewed focus, he studies marketing techniques and improves his product presentation. Gradually, his sales increase. The moment he stopped allowing negative thoughts to dominate his attention, his progress returned. Learning to ignore distractions is like training a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger your focus becomes. A helpful technique is creating a clear vision. When a person truly understands their goal, distractions lose much of their power. A clear vision acts like a compass that guides daily decisions. For example, if someone dreams of becoming a doctor, they know that years of study are required. When entertainment or laziness tries to interrupt their schedule, they remember their vision. This reminder helps them return to their work. Another technique is protecting important time periods. Many successful individuals schedule specific hours for deep work. During these hours, all unnecessary interruptions are removed. In these quiet periods, the mind enters a state of deep concentration. Complex problems become easier to solve and creativity becomes stronger. Focus on you until you win is closely connected with this idea. When attention becomes stable, progress accelerates. It is also important to remember that rest is not a distraction when it is intentional. Rest helps the mind recover and maintain energy. The difference between rest and distraction is purpose. Rest is chosen consciously after meaningful work. Distraction often appears when someone tries to escape. Effort. A balanced life includes both focused work and healthy rest. Shows that many great achievements required individuals to ignore countless distractions. Scientists worked for years on difficult problems. Artists practiced their craft in quiet studios. Leaders spent long hours planning solutions. Their success was not only the result of intelligence or talent, it was the result of sustained attention directed toward meaningful goals. When someone truly commits to focusing on themselves, they begin noticing how much time can be saved by reducing unnecessary noise. Hours once lost to distraction become hours invested in learning, building, and creating. Imagine if a person spends just 2 focused hours each day improving a skill. Over 1 year, that becomes more than 700 hours of practice. Over 5 years, it becomes thousands of hours. Such dedication can transform an ordinary beginner into an expert. The journey toward success does not require perfect conditions. It requires the ability to protect attention from constant interruption. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you strengthen your future. Every time you return to your work despite noise, you move closer to victory. Focus on you until you win. Ignore the distractions. Protect your attention. Continue building your skills, and slowly but surely your path will lead toward success. Chapter 4: Building Confidence. Through action, confidence is one of the most powerful forces in human life. It shapes decisions, influences behavior, and determines how a person faces challenges. Many people believe confidence is something a person is born with. But in reality, confidence is built through action. Focus on you until you win means understanding that confidence grows when a person repeatedly takes action toward their goals. Many individuals wait for confidence before they begin their journey. They believe they must feel ready before they try something difficult. But the truth is the opposite. Confidence is not the starting point. Confidence is the result of consistent effort. Imagine a young student named Farhan who dreams of becoming a public speaker. He admires great speakers and watches their speeches online. Their words inspire him, and he imagines himself standing on a stage one day speaking with power and clarity. But whenever he thinks about speaking in front of people, his heart beats faster. Fear appears in his mind. He worries about making mistakes and worries about people laughing at him. Because of this fear, he avoids opportunities to speak. Months pass, and his dream remains only an idea. One day his teacher gives him simple advice. The teacher tells him that courage grows when action begins. Waiting for perfect confidence may keep him waiting forever. Farhan decides to try a small step. Instead of speaking to a large audience, he begins by speaking in front of a few classmates. His voice shakes at first. His words are not perfect, but he finishes the short speech. Afterward, he notices something interesting. The fear did not destroy him. The experience actually made him stronger. The next week, he speaks again. This time, his voice becomes steadier. His words become clearer. Each small action adds a little more confidence. Months later, he participates in a school speaking competition. The same person who once feared speaking now stands proudly on stage. His confidence did not appear suddenly. It was built step by step through repeated action. Another story shows the same lesson. A young woman named Hira wants to become a software developer. She loves technology, but programming languages look complicated in the beginning. When she sees experienced developers writing complex code, she feels intimidated. For a moment, she thinks that maybe programming is only for highly talented people. But instead of quitting, she decides to learn gradually. She starts with simple exercises. She writes small programs that perform basic tasks. Sometimes her code fails and errors appear on the screen. Instead of feeling defeated, she treats each mistake as a lesson. With every solved problem, her understanding becomes stronger. Slowly, she begins creating more advanced programs. 1 year later, she develops her own application. When people see her success, they assume she was naturally confident. But the truth is, her confidence grew because she took action despite uncertainty. Confidence built through action is stronger than confidence built through. Imagination. Action provides real evidence that progress is possible. Consider another example. A young entrepreneur named Salman dreams of starting a small food business. He enjoys cooking and believes his recipes can attract customers. But he worries about failure and worries about losing money. For a long time, he only talks about his idea with friends. The idea remains in conversation, but never becomes reality. One day, he decides to test his idea in a simple way. Instead of opening a full restaurant, he starts selling homemade food online to a few local customers. At first, he receives only a small number of orders, but each satisfied customer gives him encouragement. Positive feedback builds belief in his ability. Soon he improves his packaging and expands his menu. More customers begin ordering. Eventually, he opens a small restaurant. His confidence was not created by thinking about success. It was created by taking real steps toward it. This is the true relationship between action and confidence. Action produces experience, and experience produces belief. Focus on you until you win requires this cycle of action and learning. Sometimes people delay action because they fear making mistakes. They imagine failure as something shameful. But mistakes are actually powerful teachers. Think about a child learning to walk. The child falls many times. If the child decided that falling means failure, they would never learn to walk. Instead, the child naturally continues trying until balance improves. Adults often forget this simple lesson. They become afraid of mistakes and stop experimenting. But the most successful individuals understand that mistakes are part of progress. For example, a young artist named Miriam dreams of becoming a professional painter. In the beginning, her paintings look simple and sometimes imperfect. When she compares her work with experienced artists, she feels discouraged. But instead of giving up, she continues painting every day. Each painting teaches her something new about color, light, and composition. After hundreds of paintings, her skill improves dramatically. Galleries begin noticing her work. Her confidence grows because she can see the evidence of her improvement. Another important aspect of confidence is self-trust. When a person repeatedly takes action and overcomes challenges, they begin trusting their ability to face future difficulties. Imagine a mountain climber preparing for a challenging climb. The climber trains for months building strength and endurance. During training, they face smaller mountains and difficult weather conditions. Each completed challenge strengthens their belief in their abilities. When the day of the major climb arrives, they still feel respect for the mountain, but their confidence is strong because their past actions prove their capability. Confidence built through preparation and effort becomes a reliable companion during difficult moments. Focus on you until you win also means celebrating small progress. Many people ignore their small achievements because they are focused only on the final goal. But recognizing progress helps the mind stay motivated. For example, a person learning a new language may feel overwhelmed at the beginning. The vocabulary seems endless and pronunciation feels difficult. But if the learner notices small improvements like understanding a new sentence or successfully holding a short conversation, they gain encouragement. Each small victory strengthens confidence. Another helpful habit is replacing negative self-talk with constructive thinking. Sometimes the mind produces discouraging messages, such as "I cannot do this" or "I am not good enough." These thoughts weaken confidence. A focused person learns to respond differently. Instead of accepting negative thoughts, they remind themselves that ability grows through effort. For example, instead of saying "I am not good at mathematics," a student might say "I'm still learning. Mathematics and I will improve with practice." This shift in thinking supports continued action. Confidence also grows when people surround themselves with positive influences. Encouraging teachers, supportive friends, and inspiring mentors can strengthen belief during difficult periods. However, the most important source of confidence remains personal effort. Every time you take action despite fear, you send a powerful message to your mind. The message says, "I am capable of growth." Over time, these messages accumulate and form strong self-belief. Think about the many areas of life where action builds confidence. Athletes gain confidence through training. Writers gain confidence through writing. Entrepreneurs gain confidence through launching projects. The principle remains the same. Everywhere, confidence is built by doing. Focus on you until you win encourages individuals to stop waiting for perfect conditions. Instead, they begin working with the resources they have today. The first step may be small, but it begins a chain reaction of progress. Action creates experience. Experience creates knowledge. Knowledge creates confidence. This cycle repeats again and again until the person becomes strong, skilled, and prepared for greater challenges. One day, the person who once doubted themselves becomes someone others admire. When people ask how such confidence developed, the answer is simple. They focused on themselves, they kept taking action, and slowly they built the confidence needed to win. Chapter 5: Turning Failure into Fuel. Every person who travels the road toward success will eventually meet failure. It is not a possibility, but a certainty. Failure appears in many forms. A rejected idea, a lost competition, a business that does not grow as expected, or an exam that does not bring the desired result. Many people see failure as the end of their journey. They allow disappointment to destroy their motivation. But individuals who truly focus on themselves until they win understand something very powerful. Failure is not the end. Failure is information. Failure is feedback. Failure is fuel for growth. Success often hides behind repeated attempts. Imagine a young man named Adnan, who dreams of becoming a professional football player. From childhood, he loves the sport and practices with great enthusiasm. When he reaches his teenage years, He tries to join a competitive football club. During the selection trials, he gives his best effort. But he is not chosen. The rejection hurts deeply. For several days, he feels discouraged and wonders if he should abandon his dream. Many people around him suggest focusing on something easier, but Adnan decides to study his failure instead of running from it. He asks the coaches for honest feedback. They explain that his speed is good, but his endurance and tactical understanding need improvement. Instead of feeling ashamed, he accepts the advice as a guide for growth. He begins training with greater focus. He improves his stamina by running longer distances. He watches professional matches to understand team strategy. Week after week, his abilities become stronger. The following year, he returns for another trial. This time the coaches notice his improvement and select him for the team. His earlier failure became the reason for his future success, because he used it as fuel for improvement. Another story shows the same lesson. A young entrepreneur named Danish wants to create a small online store selling handmade accessories. He spends weeks designing products and finally launches his website with excitement. In the first months, almost nobody buys anything. The few visitors who come to the site leave quickly. Danish feels frustrated and embarrassed. For a moment, he thinks about closing the store. But instead of quitting, he studies what went wrong. He analyzes customer behavior and realizes that his product photos are unclear and his website design is confusing. He also learns that marketing is necessary for people to discover his products. He begins improving step by step. He takes better photos of his accessories. He simplifies the website layout. He learns basic online advertising. Gradually, visitors begin staying longer on the website. Orders start appearing. The same business that once looked like a failure becomes successful because Danish used the lessons hidden inside failure. Focus on you until you win requires this mindset. Instead of fearing failure, you learn to extract knowledge from it. Consider a student named Manur preparing for an important examination. She studies carefully, but when the results arrive, she does not achieve the marks she expected. Many of her friends perform better, and she feels disappointed. For several days, she feels like giving up. But after reflecting, she decides to analyze her preparation honestly. She discovers that although she studied many hours, she often memorized information without fully understanding it. She also noticed that she practiced very few sample questions. During the next academic year, she changes her strategy. She focuses on understanding concepts deeply and solves many practice problems. When the next examination arrives, her performance improves significantly. Her earlier failure became a teacher that guided her toward a better approach. This principle applies in almost every field. Athletes lose matches before winning championships. Writers receive rejected manuscripts before publishing books. Inventors build many unsuccessful prototypes before discovering working solutions. Failure is often the training ground for mastery. One of the most inspiring examples comes from inventors and innovators throughout history. Many inventions required hundreds or even thousands of experiments before success appeared. Imagine an inventor working late at night, testing new designs. One experiment fails, then another fails. Weeks pass without visible success. To an outside observer, it may look like wasted effort, but each failed experiment reveals valuable information. The inventor learns which materials do not work and which methods need adjustment. Eventually, the correct combination appears and the invention succeeds. Without the earlier failures, the final success would not exist. Another powerful aspect of failure is resilience. When a person experiences failure and chooses to continue, they develop mental strength. This resilience becomes extremely valuable during future challenges. Think about a young artist named Zoya, who dreams of exhibiting her paintings in a gallery. She spends months creating a collection of artwork and sends proposals to several galleries. One after another, the galleries reject her. At first, the rejection feels painful. She wonders whether her art is good enough. But instead of giving up, she seeks feedback from experienced artists. They suggest improving certain techniques and developing a more unique style. Zoya returns to her studio and continues painting. Her new work becomes stronger and more expressive. After some time, another gallery reviews her portfolio and invites her to display her paintings. If Zoya had allowed rejection to stop her journey, the opportunity would never have appeared. Failure also teaches humility and patience. When success arrives too easily, people sometimes stop learning. They believe they already know everything. Failure reminds individuals that growth requires continuous improvement. Consider a young programmer named Fahad who quickly becomes skilled in one programming language. Because his early projects succeed, he begins believing that learning is no longer necessary. When he attempts a more complex project, he suddenly faces difficulties. His previous knowledge is not enough to solve new problems. At first he feels frustrated, but then he realizes that the field of technology constantly evolves. He begins studying advanced programming concepts and learning new languages. The temporary failure renews his dedication to learning. Soon he becomes a far more capable developer than before. Focus on you until you win means embracing this process. It means understanding that setbacks are not signs of weakness, but invitations to grow stronger. There are several ways to transform failure into fuel. The first step is accepting responsibility. Instead of blaming circumstances, a focused person asks, what can be improved? The second step is learning from feedback. Honest evaluation reveals weaknesses that can be strengthened. The third step is continuing action. Lessons become valuable only when they lead to new attempts. A helpful example comes from a young runner named Arif, who dreams of winning a national race. During his first major competition, he finishes far behind the winners. The result disappoints him deeply. Instead of abandoning the sport, he reviews the race carefully. He notices that his pace slows down significantly in the final. Part of the race. With the help of his coach, he designs a new training program that improves endurance and pacing. Strategy. In the next competition, his performance improves dramatically. Even though he still does not win the race, he moves much closer to the leading runners. Each race teaches him something new. Each improvement strengthens his determination. Eventually, after several years of training, he wins a national medal. The medal represents victory, but the journey includes many earlier defeats that shaped his abilities. Another important lesson about failure is that it separates those who truly want success from those who only like the idea of success. When challenges appear, some people walk away because the effort feels too heavy. Others stay on the path because their commitment is deeper than temporary discomfort. Focus on you until you win belongs to the second group. It describes individuals who understand that perseverance is more valuable than perfection, that they continue learning, they continue adapting, they continue trying. Each failure becomes a step rather than a barrier. Imagine climbing a mountain path filled with rocks and uneven ground. Sometimes you slip, sometimes you lose balance, but each step still moves you closer to the summit. The climber who stops because of one slip will never see the view from the top. The climber who adjusts their footing and continues eventually reaches the summit. Life works in a similar way. Failure does not define your future. Unless you decide to stop, you choose to learn and continue. Failure becomes energy for growth. One day, people will see your achievements and celebrate your success. They may not realize how many setbacks you faced along the way, But you will know the truth. Every failure you faced became part of the fuel that carried you forward. You focused on yourself. You learned from every mistake, and eventually you turned failure into victory. Chapter 6. The long road to victory. Success rarely appears suddenly. Most victories are the result of long journeys filled with effort, patience, and persistence. Many people dream about success, but few are prepared for the length of the road that leads to it. Focus on you until you win means accepting that real progress often takes time. It means understanding that growth happens slowly through consistent effort, repeated learning, and continued determination. Imagine a young boy named Saad who dreams of becoming a great musician. When he first hears beautiful music played on a piano, he feels inspired. The sound touches his heart, and he imagines himself playing such melodies in front of an audience. One day, his parents buy him a small keyboard so he can begin learning. During the first weeks, he feels excited and practices every day. But soon he realizes that playing music is not as easy as it looked. His fingers move slowly across the keys, and many notes sound incorrect. The songs he hears from professional musicians seem far beyond his current ability. For a moment, he feels discouraged. But his teacher reminds him that every musician once started exactly where he is now. Mastery grows from patient practice. Saad continues learning. Every day he practices scales and simple songs. At first, the progress is small, but after several months, his fingers become more flexible and his sense of rhythm improves. Years pass, and the same boy who once struggled with simple notes begins performing complex musical pieces. When people hear him play, they admire his talent, but few understand how many hours of practice created that ability. His victory came from walking the long road with patience. Another story shows a similar journey. A young woman named Rita dreams of becoming a successful architect. She loves designing buildings and imagining beautiful spaces where people can live and work. To reach her goal, she must complete many years of study and training. During her first year at university, she feels overwhelmed by the complexity of architecture. There are difficult design projects, technical drawings, and demanding deadlines. Sometimes she wonders if the path is too long. But every time she completes a new project, her understanding grows. She begins to see how creativity and engineering combine to create strong and beautiful structures. During her studies, she also works as an intern in a small architecture firm. There she observes experienced architects solving real problems for clients. Each experience adds another layer to her knowledge. After many years of dedication, she finally becomes a professional architect and designs buildings that serve communities. Her success was not the result of one moment, but the result of thousands of small efforts spread across many years. Focus on you until you win encourages individuals to respect this long process of growth. In the modern world, people often expect instant results. Technology provides quick entertainment, quick communication, and quick information. Because of this, many individuals become impatient when progress requires time. But meaningful achievements almost always demand long-term commitment. Consider the journey of a young athlete named Hassan, who dreams of competing in national competitions. At the beginning, he trains with enthusiasm, but quickly realizes that physical improvement requires steady effort. Strength, endurance, and technique cannot be built overnight. His coach designs a training program that includes daily practice, balanced nutrition, and proper rest. Some days the training feels exhausting. Muscles ache and motivation becomes weaker. Yet Hassan remembers his goal. Week after week, his body becomes stronger. His speed improves. His technique becomes more precise. After several years of training, he finally qualifies for a national event. The victory he experiences on the track represents the reward for years of preparation. The long road to victory often includes periods when progress feels invisible. During these times, patience becomes essential. Imagine a farmer planting seeds in a field. After planting the seeds, the soil looks unchanged for many days. If the farmer became impatient and stopped watering the field, nothing would grow. But the farmer understands that growth happens beneath the surface before it becomes visible. Eventually, small plants emerge from the soil, and later they grow into strong crops. Personal development follows a similar pattern. Effort invested today may not show immediate results, but it is building strength, knowledge, and skill beneath the surface. A student who studies consistently may not notice improvement every single day, but after months of learning, their understanding becomes far deeper. An entrepreneur who builds a business step by step may struggle in the early stages, but over time, their experience and reputation create opportunities. Another example is the story of a writer named Kamran, who dreams of publishing a novel. Writing a book requires imagination, discipline, and patience. In the beginning, Kamran feels inspired and writes many pages quickly. But as the story develops, he faces challenges. Some chapters feel weak, and some ideas do not fit the overall narrative. Instead of abandoning the project, he revises his work carefully. He rewrites scenes, improves characters, and strengthens the storyline. The process takes many months. Finally, he completes the manuscript and sends it to publishers. At first, several publishers reject the book. Kamran continues improving his writing, and eventually, one publisher recognizes the value of his story. The book is published and readers begin appreciating his work. Behind the finished book lies a long journey of persistence and dedication. Focus on you until you win teaches an important truth about time. Time will pass whether you use it wisely or waste it. A person who commits to daily improvement will eventually look back and see how far they have traveled. Another person who spends the same years without focus may remain in the same place. The difference between these two paths is the decision to stay committed. During long journeys, motivation may rise and fall. Some days feel exciting, while other days feel routine. The key is continuing even when the excitement fades. Discipline and purpose keep the journey moving. Consider a young doctor named Ikra working in a busy hospital. Her career required many years of education and training. Even after becoming a doctor, she continues learning because medicine constantly evolves. Every day she studies new medical research and improves her skills to help patients more effectively. Her dedication reflects the understanding that mastery is a lifelong journey. The long road to victory also shapes character. When a person spends years working toward a goal, they develop patience, resilience, and wisdom. These qualities become valuable not only for achieving success, but also for handling future challenges. For example, a business owner named Tariq spends years building his company from a small startup into a respected organization. Along the way, he faces financial difficulties, market competition, and unexpected obstacles. Each challenge forces him to learn new strategies and develop stronger leadership skills. When his company finally achieves stability and growth, he realizes that the journey itself transformed him into a capable leader. Victory is not only about reaching a destination. It is also about becoming the type of person capable of reaching that destination. Focus on you until you win means trusting that every step on the road has value. Even slow progress is still progress. Every day of learning strengthens your mind. Every challenge you overcome strengthens your character. If you remain patient and committed, the distance between where you are and where you want to be will gradually shrink. Many people give up just before success becomes possible because they underestimate how close they are. Imagine a miner digging for gold deep inside a mountain. After many days of digging, he becomes tired and decides to stop. If he had continued digging just a little further, he might have reached the gold hidden beneath the rock. Persistence often reveals opportunities that impatience hides. The long road to victory may appear difficult, but it is also meaningful. Every step teaches lessons, and every challenge builds strength. When you finally reach your goal, the satisfaction feels deeper because you know the journey required dedication. One day, people may look at your success and think it happened quickly. They may not see the years of preparation behind it, but you will remember every step of the road. You will remember the moments of doubt and the moments of progress. And you will know that the victory you achieved was not an accident. It was the result of focusing on yourself day after day, year after year, until you finally won. Chapter 7. Power of self-belief. Every great achievement begins with a powerful force inside the human mind. That force is self-belief. Self-belief is the quiet confidence that tells a person they are capable of growth, improvement, and success. Without self-belief, many dreams remain only ideas because doubt becomes stronger than action. Focus on you until you win means strengthening the belief that you can move forward even when the path looks uncertain. Many people lose opportunities not because they lack ability, but because they do not believe in their potential. They hesitate when chances appear. They question their worth. They compare themselves with others and assume they are not good enough. But individuals who build strong self-belief create a different future. Imagine a young girl named Amina who dreams of becoming a scientist. From an early age, she enjoys asking questions about nature. She wonders why stars shine and how plants grow. Her curiosity leads her toward science books and experiments. However, some people around her say that scientific careers are difficult and competitive. They suggest she choose something easier. For a moment, Amina feels uncertain. The opinions of others begin to influence her thoughts. But her teacher notices her curiosity and encourages her to trust her interest in science. The teacher tells her something simple but powerful. Believe in your ability to learn and keep exploring. Amina takes these words seriously. She studies science with dedication and continues asking questions. Sometimes experiments fail and sometimes complex theories confuse her, but her belief in learning keeps her moving forward. Years later, she becomes a researcher studying environmental science and helping communities protect natural resources. Her journey shows how self-belief can guide a person through challenges. Another example comes from a young man named Bilal who dreams of becoming a successful graphic designer. He loves creating digital artwork and spends many hours practicing design software. When he first shares his work online, some people criticize his designs. They say his style is not professional enough. At first, the criticism hurts his confidence. He considers stopping his creative work, but then he decides to view criticism differently. Instead of seeing it as proof of failure, he treats it as an opportunity to improve. He studies professional design techniques and practices every day. Gradually, his designs become more refined and creative. As his portfolio grows, companies begin noticing his talent. Eventually, he receives freelance projects and builds a career in design. Self-belief allowed him to continue developing his abilities instead of abandoning them. Focus on you until you win encourages individuals to listen more closely to their inner voice than to outside doubt. This does not mean ignoring helpful advice, but it means refusing to allow negative opinions to define your potential. Self-belief also grows through preparation and learning. When you invest time in improving your skills, your confidence becomes stronger because you know you are developing real abilities. Consider the story of a student named Fatima who wants to become a lawyer. Public speaking and legal arguments require confidence and strong knowledge. During her early studies, she sometimes feels intimidated by complex legal discussions. Instead of doubting her capability, She commits to deeper learning. She reads case studies practices, debates and participates in mock trials organized by her. Each experience strengthens her understanding of law and improves her communication skills. By the time she graduates, she has developed the confidence needed to present arguments clearly in court. Her self-belief did not appear suddenly. It was built through dedication and preparation. Another powerful aspect of self-belief is resilience during difficult moments. Life will always present obstacles. Projects may fail, plans may change, and unexpected problems may appear. When a person lacks self-belief, these obstacles can feel overwhelming. They may assume that challenges prove they are not capable. But someone who believes in their ability to learn and adapt sees obstacles differently. They understand that challenges are part of growth. Imagine an entrepreneur named Zubair launching a technology startup. In the early stages, his company faces many difficulties, including limited funding and technical challenges. Some investors doubt his idea and suggest he abandon the project. Instead of surrendering to doubt, Zubair continues improving his product and refining his business model. His belief in the value of his idea keeps him moving forward. Eventually, the technology he develops attracts attention from investors who recognize its potential. His company grows and creates solutions that help many people. Self-belief allowed him to continue working when external validation was absent. Focus on you until you win also means recognizing your own progress. Sometimes individuals forget how far they have come because they focus only on how far they still need to go. Taking time to acknowledge improvement strengthens motivation and belief. For example, a person learning a musical instrument may remember how difficult the first lessons were. When they compare those early days with their current ability, they can see clear growth. This recognition reminds them that continued practice will lead to even greater mastery. Self-belief is also influenced by the environment around you. Supportive mentors, encouraging friends, and inspiring role models can strengthen belief during challenging periods. However, true self-belief ultimately comes from within. It grows when a person repeatedly proves to themselves that effort leads to progress. Imagine a marathon runner named Haris training for his first long-distance race. In the beginning, running even a few kilometers feels exhausting, but he gradually increases his distance each week. 5 kilometers become 10 kilometers. 10 kilometers become 15. With each milestone, his belief grows stronger. When race day arrives, he remembers all the training he completed. That memory gives him confidence that he can finish the marathon. The same principle applies in every field. Writers believe in their voice after writing many pages. Engineers believe in their skills after solving many problems. Teachers believe in their ability after helping many students learn. Self-belief is the result of consistent effort and positive reflection. Focus on you until you win encourages individuals to invest energy in personal growth instead of constant comparison with others. Every person has a unique journey. Comparing your progress with someone else's timeline often creates unnecessary pressure. Instead, measure your progress against your past. Ask yourself if you are learning more today than yesterday. Ask yourself if your skills are improving month after month. These reflections help strengthen confidence in your path. Another important element of self-belief is courage. Courage does not mean the absence of fear. It means moving forward despite fear. Many successful individuals felt nervous when starting their journeys. They experienced uncertainty and risk, but they trusted their ability to learn from experience. For example, a young teacher named Sana begins her career in a classroom full of energetic students. At first, she worries about managing the class effectively and delivering clear lessons. Instead of letting fear control her, she prepares carefully, studies teaching methods, and observes experienced educators. Each successful lesson increases her confidence. Over time, she becomes a respected teacher known for inspiring students. Her belief in her ability to grow helped her transform nervous beginnings into professional success. Self-belief also inspires creativity and innovation. When people trust their ideas, they become more willing to explore new solutions. Think about inventors, artists, and entrepreneurs who introduced new concepts to the world. Many of their ideas were initially questioned or misunderstood, but their belief in their vision allowed them to continue developing their work until others recognized its value. Focus on you until you win means nurturing this inner belief. It means reminding yourself that potential grows with effort. Every skill you admire in others was once unfamiliar to them. Every expert was once a beginner who chose to keep learning. When you invest time in improving yourself, you create evidence that supports your belief. Each small success strengthens the foundation of confidence. Over time, this belief becomes a guiding force that pushes you beyond limitations. One day, people may admire your achievements and describe you as talented or fortunate, but you will know the deeper truth. Your success was built through belief in your ability to grow. You trusted your journey. You focused on improving yourself, and you continued moving forward until you finally. Chapter 8. The Value of Patience. Patience is one of the most powerful qualities a person can develop during the journey toward success. In a world where people often expect instant results, patience becomes a rare strength. Many dreams fail not because the goal is impossible, but because the person becomes tired of waiting. Focus on you until you win means understanding that meaningful achievements require time, effort, and patience. Patience does not mean doing nothing. Patience means continuing to work while trusting that progress will come gradually. It means believing that every small effort contributes to a bigger result. Imagine a young student named Hamid who dreams of becoming a skilled mathematician. From an early age, he enjoys solving puzzles and logical problems. When he enters higher education, he discovers that advanced mathematics is far more complex than the problems he solved before. Sometimes, he spends hours trying to understand a single concept. Some formulas seem confusing, and some problems require many attempts before a solution appears. At first, he feels frustrated. He wonders why understanding takes so long, but his professor reminds him that mathematics is like building a strong structure. Each concept is a brick that supports the next one. Rushing the process can weaken the foundation. Hamid learns to practice patience. Instead of becoming angry when he cannot solve a problem quickly, he calmly studies it step by step. With time, his understanding grows deeper. Concepts that once seemed impossible begin to make sense. Years later, he becomes a respected mathematics teacher who helps others appreciate the beauty of logical thinking. His success came from patient dedication rather than quick results. Another story shows the same principle. A young woman named Nida dreams of building a successful garden nursery. She loves plants and wants to grow flowers and trees that people can bring into their homes. She begins with a small piece of land and a few seeds. After planting the seeds, she waters the soil and waits. Days pass and nothing appears above the ground. If she expected immediate results, she might believe that the seeds failed. But she understands the natural process of growth. The seeds are developing beneath the soil before they appear on the surface. After some time, small green shoots emerge. With careful attention and patience, those small plants grow into healthy flowers and trees. Her nursery slowly becomes popular in the community because she understands the rhythm of nature. Life goals grow in a similar way. Effort invested today may not produce visible results immediately, but growth is happening beneath the surface. Focus on you until you win requires trusting this process. Consider the journey of a young athlete named Saif preparing for a long-distance race. In the beginning, running even a few kilometers feels exhausting. His breathing becomes heavy and his legs feel weak. But his coach explains that endurance develops gradually. Saif trains regularly. Each week, he increases his running distance slightly. Sometimes, progress feels slow, but he remains. Patient. After several months, he can run distances that once seemed impossible. When he participates. In his first marathon, he realizes how far patience and consistent training have taken him. Patience allowed his body to adapt and grow. Stronger. Another example is the story of a writer named Farah who dreams of publishing a novel. She begins writing with enthusiasm and completes the first chapters quickly. But as the story grows, she realizes that creating a meaningful novel requires careful thought. Characters must feel real. The storyline must flow naturally. Some chapters need revision and improvement. The process takes far longer than she expected. Instead of rushing to finish, she patiently revises her work again and again. Each revision improves the quality of her story. After many months, she completes the manuscript and submits it to publishers. Eventually, her book is published, and readers appreciate the depth of her storytelling. Her patience turned a simple idea into a powerful novel. Focus on you until you win also means being patient with personal growth. Many people become discouraged because they expect rapid transformation. They begin learning a new skill and hope to master it. Within a short time, when progress appears slow, they assume they are not talented enough. But mastery in any field requires consistent practice over long periods. Imagine a young guitarist named Imran learning to play music. At first, his fingers move slowly, and the chords sound rough. If he expected perfection immediately, he might stop practicing. Instead, he practices a little every day. Gradually, his fingers become more flexible, and his sense of rhythm improves. After many months, he can play songs smoothly. Patience allowed him to transform beginner struggles into musical skill. Another important aspect of patience is emotional balance. During long journeys, there will be moments of frustration and doubt. Patience helps the mind remain calm during these moments. For example, a business owner named Yasser launches a small company selling handmade furniture. In the beginning, sales are low, and building a reputation takes time. If he expected immediate success, he might feel defeated. But he understands that trust from customers develops gradually. He focuses on producing high-quality furniture and providing excellent service. Each satisfied customer tells others about his work. Over time, his business grows and his reputation becomes strong. Patience allowed his effort to mature into success. Focus on you until you win encourages individuals to appreciate the journey rather than only the destination. When you practice patience, you begin noticing the lessons and experiences gained along the way. Every challenge teaches something valuable. Every improvement builds confidence. The journey itself becomes meaningful. Another example comes from a young scientist named Adil working on environmental research. His project involves studying soil health in agricultural areas. Collecting accurate data requires careful observation over many months. Some results take time to appear. Instead of rushing to conclusions, he patiently records information and analyzes patterns. Eventually, his research provides valuable insights that help farmers improve crop production. His patience ensured that the results were reliable and beneficial. Patience also strengthens determination. When a person learns to remain calm during slow progress, they become more capable of handling future challenges. Think about a mountain climber ascending a tall peak. The climb requires careful steps, steady breathing, and constant attention. If the climber rushed without patience, they might lose balance. By moving steadily and patiently, they eventually reach the summit. Life goals often resemble such climbs. Each step matters, and steady progress leads to achievement. Focus on you until you win means trusting that consistent effort will eventually create results. That it means continuing to learn and improve even when success is not immediately visible. A helpful habit is setting small milestones along the journey. For example, a student preparing for a difficult exam might set weekly study goals. Each completed goal becomes a sign of progress. These milestones help maintain motivation while waiting for the final result. Another helpful practice is remembering past achievements. When you reflect on challenges you have already overcome, you realize that patience helped you succeed before. This memory strengthens your belief that patience will guide you again. Patience does not remove effort from the journey. Instead, it supports effort by protecting motivation during slow periods. When you combine patience with disciplined learning and focus, your progress becomes unstoppable. Many successful individuals achieved their goals after years of dedication. Their patience allowed their skills, knowledge, and opportunities to grow gradually. One day people may look at your achievements and think they appeared suddenly, but you will know the truth. Behind every victory, there were countless days of quiet effort. There were moments when progress felt slow, and moments when patience was the only strength you had, and yet you continued. You focused on improving yourself. You trusted the process. You practiced patience every day. Step by step, your patience carried you toward the moment when you finally won. Chapter 9. The Strength of Persistence. One of the most powerful qualities that separates successful people from those who give up is persistence. Persistence means continuing to move toward a goal even when the journey becomes difficult. It is the ability to keep trying despite failure, frustration, and obstacles. In psychology, persistence is described as the determination to keep working toward goals even when challenges appear or progress feels slow. Focus on you until you win requires persistence, because success rarely happens after the first attempt. Most achievements are the result of repeated effort over long periods of time. Persistence means refusing to let temporary difficulties decide the direction of your future. Imagine a young student named Omar who dreams of becoming a skilled engineer. When he first begins studying advanced mathematics and physics, he struggles to understand many of the concepts. Some lessons seem confusing, and some problems take hours to solve. During his first examination, he receives lower marks than he expected. For a moment, Omar feels disappointed and begins wondering whether engineering is too difficult for him. Many students around him also struggle, and some even change their field of study. Omar makes an important decision. Instead of quitting, he chooses persistence. Every evening he reviews his lessons carefully. He asks teachers for clarification when he does not understand something. He solves extra practice problems and studies with classmates who share the same goal. Slowly, his understanding improves. Concepts that once seemed impossible begin to make sense. By the end of the academic year, his grades improve significantly. Years later, he graduates as an engineer and works on projects that help build modern infrastructure. His success was not the result of natural talent alone. It was the result of persistence. Psychologists often explain that persistence is strongly connected with long-term success because people who remain determined continue investing effort even when obstacles appear. Another example is the story of a young entrepreneur named Hamid. He dreams of creating a technology company that develops useful mobile applications. He begins working on his first application with excitement. After months of development, he launches the product online. Unfortunately, the application receives very little attention. Only a small number of users download it. Many people might see this as failure and stop trying, but Hamid studies the feedback from users carefully. He realizes that the application needs improvements and additional features. Instead of abandoning the project, he continues learning about programming design and user experience. He develops a new version of the application that solves real problems more effectively. This time, more people begin using his product. Gradually, his application becomes popular, and his company begins growing. If Hammett had stopped after the first disappointment, his success would never have appeared. Persistence turned failure into progress. The importance of persistence can be seen in many areas of life. Students persist through difficult studies. Athletes persist through exhausting training. Scientists persist through repeated experiments. These efforts reflect a powerful principle. Long-term goals require continuous effort over time. Research shows that many high achievers succeed not only because of talent, but also because of perseverance and sustained effort. Not another inspiring example is the story of a runner named Hassan preparing for a national race. During his early training sessions, he often finishes behind other runners. His endurance is lower, and his speed needs improvement. Sometimes he feels discouraged when he compares himself with more experienced athletes. But instead of quitting, he follows a disciplined training routine. Every morning he wakes up early and runs longer distances. He studies techniques that improve his breathing and pacing. Weeks turn into months, and his performance gradually improves. Eventually, he participates in a regional race and achieves a top position. The victory is not only the result of physical training. It is the result of persistence that kept him moving forward during difficult moments. Persistence also helps individuals overcome emotional barriers. Many people experience doubt, fear, and frustration during challenging periods. Persistence encourages them to continue despite these emotions. For example, consider a young artist named Zara who loves painting landscapes. She spends many hours creating beautiful artwork and hopes to display her paintings in an exhibition. However, when she first submits her portfolio to a gallery, the organizers reject her application. The rejection makes her feel uncertain about her talent. Instead of giving up, she decides to improve her technique. She studies different painting styles, experiments with colors, and practices new methods. After months of dedication, her artwork becomes more expressive and refined. When she submits her portfolio, again, another gallery recognizes her talent and invites her to participate in an exhibition. Her persistence transformed rejection into opportunity. Focus on you until you win means understanding that persistence is often more powerful than perfection. Some people wait for perfect conditions before they start working on their dreams. They believe everything must be ideal before they take action. But persistent individuals begin with the resources they have and continue improving along the way. Each attempt becomes a lesson. Each lesson becomes experience. Each experience brings them closer to success. Persistence also builds resilience. When a person continues working through difficulties, they develop mental strength. They learn that temporary setbacks do not define their ability. Imagine a teacher named Rama who begins her career in a classroom filled with energetic students. At first, managing the classroom feels challenging. Some lessons do not go as planned, and some students struggle to understand the material. Instead of feeling defeated, she studies teaching strategies and learns from experienced educators. Every day she improves her methods. Over time, her classroom becomes a place where students feel motivated to learn. Her persistence allows her to grow into an inspiring teacher. Persistence is also closely connected with the concept of grit, which psychologists describe as passion combined with perseverance toward long-term goals. People who develop grit remain committed to their ambitions, even when the path becomes long and demanding. Focus on you until you win encourages individuals to develop this quality. It means continuing to learn even when progress seems slow. It means continuing to work even when recognition has not yet arrived. It means trusting that every effort contributes to future success. Persistence transforms ordinary actions into extraordinary achievements. Student who studies every day becomes knowledgeable. An athlete who trains every day becomes strong. A writer who writes every day creates meaningful stories. The power of persistence lies in consistency. Small efforts repeated over time create powerful results. Sometimes the difference between success and failure is simply the decision to try one more time. One more. Attempt one more lesson. One more improvement. These small steps eventually lead to remarkable outcomes. One day when people look at your achievements, they may assume that success came easily. They may not see the many moments when persistence kept you moving forward, but you will know the truth. You stayed focused on your growth. You continued working when others stopped. You believed in your journey even during difficult moments. And because you chose persistence, you eventually reached the point where your effort turned into victory. You focused on yourself. You refused to give up, and step by step you continued until you won. Chapter 10. Embracing Growth Mindset. The mindset we hold shapes every action we take. One of the most important mindsets for success is the growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that skills, intelligence, and abilities can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. Individuals with a growth mindset see challenges as opportunities and failures as lessons rather than permanent limitations. Focus on you until you win means cultivating a growth mindset because it transforms obstacles into stepping stones. It shifts the perspective from fixed limitations to endless possibilities. Imagine a young woman named Layla who dreams of becoming a software engineer. At the beginning, she struggles with programming concepts. Loops, functions, and algorithms seem complicated and frustrating. Her first attempts at coding often produce errors that she does not understand. If Layla had a fixed mindset, she might think, I am not good at coding. I will never understand this. She could give up and abandon her goal. Instead, she chooses a growth mindset. She says to herself, I am learning. Mistakes show me what I need to understand better. Every error is a step toward mastery. She begins practicing coding every day. She experiments, studies tutorials, and asks for guidance when needed. With time, her understanding improves. Concepts that once felt impossible now become clear. She gradually builds her own small programs and applications. Her growth mindset allows her to transform frustration into progress. Over the years, she becomes a skilled software engineer capable of tackling complex projects. Another example comes from a young artist named Danish who dreams of becoming a painter. In the beginning, his paintings feel awkward and incomplete. Colors do not blend as he imagined, and proportions look incorrect. Some people criticize his work and tell him he is not talented enough. A fixed mindset would make him believe these critiques prove he lacks ability, but Danish chooses a growth mindset. He understands that talent can be developed with practice. He studies painting techniques, watches tutorials, experiments with new styles, and paints every day. Over months, his skill improves and his unique style begins to emerge. The feedback that once seemed discouraging becomes a guide. Every mistake teaches him how to improve. Every challenge becomes a training ground. Focus on you until you win encourages the growth mindset because it allows individuals to embrace challenges instead of avoiding them. Challenges reveal areas for improvement and create opportunities for development. Consider a student named Samir preparing for a competitive examination. Some topics are extremely difficult, and initial tests show low scores. A fixed mindset would make Samir think he is not smart enough and stop trying. With a growth mindset, Samir analyzes his mistakes and designs a study plan to strengthen weak areas. He practices regularly, reviews concepts, and gradually sees improvement. Over time, his scores rise, and he develops confidence not only in his knowledge, but also in his ability to learn and adapt. Another powerful aspect of growth mindset is resilience. Life often presents setbacks that test determination. A growth mindset allows individuals to bounce back and view failures as temporary and instructive. Imagine an entrepreneur named Faison who launches a small technology startup. The first product fails to attract customers, and investors show little interest. A fixed mindset might make him believe that he is not capable of business success. But Faison uses a growth mindset. He studies the reasons behind failure, adapts his strategy, and develops a new product that better meets the market's needs. Gradually, the company begins gaining traction. The difference lies not in raw talent, but in the mindset that transforms challenges into learning opportunities. Focus on you until you win also means celebrating progress rather than waiting for perfection. A growth mindset values improvement, even small, incremental steps. Consider a young musician named Zara practicing the violin. At first, she struggles with basic scales and rhythms. Her initial performances feel clumsy. Instead of feeling defeated, she focuses on improvement. She practices daily, observes her progress, and sets small goals. After months, her music becomes smoother and expressive. Each accomplishment, no matter how minor, reinforces her belief in the ability to grow. Psychologists emphasize that growth mindset is associated with persistence, motivation, and long-term achievement. Individuals with this mindset continue learning, accept challenges, and respond positively to feedback. Focus on you until you win means internalizing this mindset in every aspect of life. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity to learn. Every failure provides guidance. Every effort builds skill. It also means avoiding comparisons that limit potential. A fixed mindset often makes people compare themselves with others, seeing them as inherently better. Growth mindset shifts the focus inward, measuring progress against personal improvement. For example, a writer named Hania measures success by how her latest chapter is better than the previous one. She does not obsess over the achievements of other authors, but focuses on her own development. Growth mindset encourages curiosity. When you see every challenge as a chance to learn, you remain open to new knowledge and experiences. For instance, a young engineer named Ahmed faces a difficult project with new technology he has never used. Instead of fearing the unknown, he researches, experiments, and adapts. His willingness to grow turns uncertainty into expertise. Focus on you until you win requires adopting a growth mindset as a daily habit. Reflect on mistakes, welcome challenges, and actively seek opportunities to learn. Avoid the trap of fixed thinking that treats limitations as permanent. Over time, this mindset builds confidence, resilience, and skill. It transforms setbacks into fuel and effort into achievement. Every step you take becomes a lesson. Every challenge becomes a teacher. Every failure becomes a stepping stone. One day, when success arrives, you will see that the journey was shaped not only by effort, but by the belief that growth is always possible. You focused on yourself. You embraced challenges you learned from every experience, and you cultivated a mindset that carried you toward victory. Conclusion: your journey, your victory. The journey of self-improvement and success is never simple. It is filled with challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. Yet the central truth remains clear. The person who focuses on themselves consistently, patiently, and persistently is the person who ultimately wins. Throughout this journey, several powerful lessons emerge. First, distractions are everywhere, and they quietly steal time and energy. By learning to ignore what does not serve your growth, you protect your focus and direct your energy toward meaningful actions. Every step toward improvement matters, and attention is the resource that turns effort into results. Second, confidence is built through action. Waiting for perfect confidence before attempting difficult tasks delays progress. Taking even small steps repeatedly creates evidence of your abilities, and experience becomes the foundation of belief. Third, failure is not the opposite of success. It is a guide. Each setback teaches valuable lessons, reveals weaknesses to improve, and strengthens resilience. Those who embrace failure as fuel transform obstacles into stepping stones. Fourth, patience and persistence are essential. Success rarely appears overnight. Meaningful growth requires consistent effort over months and years. The small daily actions repeated relentlessly accumulate into extraordinary outcomes. Patience ensures that effort matures into achievement, and persistence ensures that you continue even when progress seems invisible. Fifth, self-belief and a growth mindset shape the entire journey. Believing in your potential allows you to face fear, uncertainty, and criticism with courage. A growth mindset turns mistakes into lessons, challenges into opportunities, and effort into mastery. Ultimately, the message is simple yet profound. Focus on you until you win. Your growth, your actions, and your mindset determine your future more than external circumstances. The victories you achieve are not merely about reaching goals. They are about the person you become along the way. Every skill you develop, every challenge you overcome, and every lesson you learn builds the foundation for long-term success. Your journey will not be perfect, and the road will not always be smooth. There will be moments of doubt, fatigue, and frustration. But each time you return to your goals, each time you take action despite fear, and each time you choose persistence over surrender, you are moving closer to victory. Remember, the most powerful victories are those earned through focus, dedication, and belief in yourself. The world will notice your achievements, but you will carry the deeper knowledge of the effort, growth, and resilience that brought you there. Focus on your growth, cultivate your skills, embrace challenges, and nurture your mindset. Continue learning, acting, and improving every day. Your journey is yours alone. Your dedication will turn potential into reality. And one day, when you look back, you will see that the victory you achieved was not only a result of effort, it was a reflection of your unwavering focus on yourself. You focused on yourself, you persisted, you grew, and you won. The journey continues, but the truth remains. When you focus on you until you win, nothing can stop your success.
Kindly subscribe to my channel.